I love that remix of Signs of Love. Okay. I've got to go speak with Alice. Oh, I have to go all the way back there. Oops. I shouldn't have gone off and done my own things. What is that? Burb. I think this burb is supposed to be... Yeah. It's like a questy thing. I'm not dealing with that right now, though. Oh. Darrow Rogo. I don't want to kill him. He sworn revenge on anyone who reminds him of his past life. That's sad. So that was the woman who tamed Y'shtola. I had the distinct feeling of being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. When Alphino's back, I'd like to visit again and ask her what tales she has of grandfather. Well, can't bear to hear what Maxima has to tell us. But it can't be bad news, can it? Lise would have said, unless... there's no point in speculating. Lise said she'd notified the guards of our coming, so we should head straight to the palace gate in the Alamican Quarter. I'll be praying for good news. Learn what you can about Alphino's plight, and I'll leave the search of our friends' lost souls to me. Commander told me to expect you. Shall I show you in?
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alphino, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Ah, we meet again. Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alphino?
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him, and I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events. Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing. As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Ascians. This shadow hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alphino, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Ascian threat.
Well, at least he's not lying in a heap in the burn.
Is that like all the Populares? Like that entire faction
Tell us
is
more
gone
about these
now?
Ascian hunters. Who are they? And is Alphino still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Ascians, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them. They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphino asked to accompany them all the same. Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
On that subject, there is much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night. It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion. I have also heard reports that several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
We've barely even begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head-on! No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
Would you and Alize head to Doma and let Lord Hien know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphino too.
Consider it done. We'll send word when...
I was gonna say, is this gonna be another headache time?
Sorrow must be changed. Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
You heard it too.
Why is Lise not hearing it though?
Well, at least we're both still standing.
She said herself that she's still a scion.
Oh,
Same with
thank
like,
the
why did
gods.
Kryl
I
not
thought we'd
hear it?
lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
These are rhetorical questions, by the way. I am aware the story will probably explain. Alphino is safe for the present, at least. All we need to worry about is a full-scale Imperial invasion. I'm actually glad Lise tasked us with visiting Lord Hien. Better to be dashing from place to place than sitting around stewing over things we can't change. To the Enclave! Why do some of these have flags on them, but there's no flag for Othard? I guess because, like, the Ruby Sea would be the Confederacy, and then Yangsha would be its own thing, and then the Azim Steppe would be its own thing. I'll see you. You have tidings for Lord Hien. May I show you in? Greetings, my friends. I was discussing future endeavors with a member of our newly formed alliance. The Kojin and the Confederacy you already know, and it was on your own strength of arms that won us the cooperation of the Steppe tribes. We've also been joined by our neighbors from Nagsha, the indomitable citizens of Dalmasca, though the scattered nature of the latter's resistance will somewhat delay their official induction. These are the peoples who have united under a single purpose, to stand against the tyranny of the Garlean Empire. I'm glad to see your alliance is coming together so swiftly. As things stand, I fear we shall soon have need of your strength. Thank you for bringing news of Alphino. His fate is never far from my thoughts. Not only because he's our emissary. As for the sudden deployment of Imperial forces, I can agree that Alamigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report we've received from our shinobi indicates a massing of troops in the western provinces. It seems all but certain the Empire is poised to bring its fist down on Eorzea. And I would help deflect that blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We remain vulnerable to airborne assault until our wall at the burn is in place. The all-important Alagan energy barrier. The energy barrier, yes. I thought to call it something more auspicious. A name was drawn from the Four Lords of Legends, perhaps. Savior's Aegis or some such. Just a thought. The Ironworks engineers report that they have finished calibrating the generators and are ready to proceed the testing stage. Have you the time to attend the test? You've seen the field which protected Azislav firsthand. I would be interested to hear how you think ours compares. I'll come too, if you don't mind. Though I'm no Y'shtola, I might be able to offer some insight. Of course, time being of the essence, it would be best if we made directly for the burn. Yuri, I leave you and Hakuro to begin the war council, to bring the war council to a close. Understood. Your mounts are saddled and ready, my lord. Wear the storms. We'll cross the burn by Yol and Falcon as before. Join me at the Overlook near House of the Fierce. Do you have different words for me? Because I've... When the Empire put down Dalmasca's bid for freedom, our remaining forces were splintered. Bringing the scattered pockets of resistance back under a single banner will be our first order of business. The jungles of Nagsha are dense and treacherous. The land itself prevents the Empire from ever truly conquering our nation. Long have we hidden behind bough and branch, striking when and where we can. Where is Nagsha? Is Nagsha like... to the north? I'm just curious. If only we could persuade our kin of the error of their ways. With the red at our side, we will be truly a formidable force. It's between the forest and Yangsha. Okay. Get the word ready to take wing.
It seems the engineers have matters well in hand. Should the barrier work as we intend, Doma will be free to reinforce her allies in Alamigo without fear of weakening her own borders. Honored friends, the time has come to put your hard work to the test. Start the generator.
I was gonna say where's Sid, but I suppose he's dealing with Omega bullshit.
Node 1 is operational. Nodes 2 to 8 are reporting similar energy levels. The barrier is forming. $1,000 yards, 2,000, 3,000. Expansion remains smooth. No fluctuations detected.
How high does it go? Because, like, at a certain point, they can just go
4,000.
higher, right?
5,000. Target altitude reached. The barrier is holding steady at 5,000 yards. We've done it.
Is that an Imperial airship? Of all the rotten timing.
But this is a gift, Mistress Alize. They can test our new wall for us. Seems solid enough, though I was hoping for a fireball.
Oh!
By the gods. It's Alphino. What are you? Let me go! He has my brother!
Lower the barrier!
Did Alphino lose his soul too? Yeah, that's the other thing. Has Alphino been hearing the voice?
Be at ease, girl. The lad is not dead,
He
merely
lost
locked
his
in
soul.
slumber.
No, not him too.
We could identify no cause and found no remedy. Thus I sought to return him to Doma, and into the arms of Lord Hien himself, it would seem. It is a day for fated reunions. Would you not agree, adventurer? Or should I address you as the Warrior of Light?
Gaius Van Baelsar. Is that his mask?
Aye. Gaius van Baelsar, the Black Wolf. That was the title I was given. One I have long since relinquished.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought I thought Gaius was the one that we killed in A Realm Reborn.
Stand down. The legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion died in Castrum Meridianum. I am no more than Gaius Baelsar, a man without rank or allegiance.
Impossible. There's no way you could have survived.
Okay, so it is the guy. He
Do you
exploded.
remember how it unfolded?
He knowed such destruction. It was not his intention.
How I was deceived by La Habrea? How I was convinced that reviving the Ultima weapon would allow me to
I
bring
did not
peace
recognize
to
because the
Eorzea?
it's just the face part of his mask. I would not have noticed
The
that.
Ascian used me, as he used so many others, all to further the restoration of his wretched god.
Can I ask him for whom he fights now?
Yet even with the might of Alec at my command, you bested me. And as the Praetorium went up in flames, I was content to burn along with it. For a moment, at least.
I would absolutely. Please tell me it gives me the option to
moment
ask
of
him for whom
folly.
he fights.
To surrender my life thus would have been to betray all who died for my cause. It was for them that I dragged myself free of the rubble, and swore vengeance on the Ascians. The Black Wolf has shed his pelt, never to return to Garlemald or her legions. I live now only to exact revenge. My principal quarry was to be La Habrea, whom I gather you have since ushered unto oblivion. But so many more remain. Long as their kind lurked in the shadows, laboring to sow chaos throughout our world, I would see each and every one dragged into the light and put to the sword. Are the Scions not of like mind?
In this single respect, perhaps.
Then I shall continue the partnership the boy began, and share what intelligence I have acquired. Among the Ascians, the Black-Masked Ilk are subordinate to those who wear red. This you already know. Yet among the Red there exists a hierarchy. Those set adrift with the Shards clearly stand below those still joined to the Source. Nabriales, who once dared to intrude upon the Rising Stones, belonged to the former group, and while he was indeed a dangerous foe, his powers were inconsequential next to the paragons of the Source. The first was La Habrea, who plagues us no more. There is also the white-robed Elidibus, and the elusive Emmett Selk.
I've heard that guy's name.
Little is known.
People like him. He's on the favorite Final Fantasy character
We have files
list.
on La Habrea and Elidibus, but I believe this Emmett Selk is new to us? As I assume my brother told you, we have evidence to suggest that an Ascian now walks in the body of the Crown Prince. Have you identified this interloper?
Elidibus seems the most likely culprit. As emissary, it is his role to maintain the equilibrium between darkness and light. Your many deeds in Hydaelyn's name have upset the balance, and I believe he seeks to restore it by throwing his considerable power behind the Empire. As a leader of the Ascians, he is one of our primary targets. It was on the trail of this very prey that the boy and I came across the scene of a failed uprising. In the absence of a single Garlean casualty, we inspected the bodies of the rebels, and the lack of any external injury drew my immediate attention. They had been slain by Black Rose, an alchemical invention of the Imperial Army. When I yet served as legatus, I ordered its production halted, and all stockpiles destroyed. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination.
Toxic gas? This must be the new weapon Maxima warned us about. Something deadly enough to sweep away all resistance in a matter of hours. Gods. You don't think they're planning to use this in Alamigo, do you?
Put your fears to rest. We infiltrated the production facility and destroyed all existing stores of the chemical along with the plant itself. Even should they rebuild the operation, they will not soon manufacture another batch. Regardless, I would draw your attention to a directive we discovered in the plant's records. The document was marked with a recent date and authorized with the signature of one Zeno Galvas.
A dead man signing the death warrant for thousands. 'Tis bad comedy.
But the tale does not end there. Within that same facility was a chamber filled with devices of elegant design. Cloning technology, we realized. And what should we find in each and every incubator? But a young Emperor Solus.
It's just like Star Wars. Somehow the Emperor returned.
All of which prompts the question, were the Ascians responsible for these abominations, or was it the will of the Emperor? I must know which hand guides the Empire. Though I have given up my rank, I am yet a son of Garlemald, and I will fight for the future of my homeland. It is time I return to the hunting of shadows. We should focus on our common foe. To reopen old quarrels now would serve no purpose.
You saved my brother's life, so I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie. But in truth, it's not my decision to make.
Are we gonna talk to Gaius about the whole, like, our souls are being sucked to another dimension thing? You're right, there's more important matters at hand. By the way, when Alphino fainted, did he mention hearing a creepy voice?
There was a time when I scorned those who placed their faith in false gods, even as I, in my blinkered conviction, place mine in Ascian promises. Unlike yours, my strength of will and my restraint was found wanting. We shall meet again, warrior of light.
Yeah, I was confused because I was like, yeah, I thought he exploded. And also he didn't sound,
So that was the infamous Black Wolf. An unexpected ally, to say the least. Well, I am content to leave the fine-tuning of the barrier to cleverer minds. Let us bid our friends from the Ironworks farewell, and see what can be done for Alphino back in Dorma.
We never asked him for whom he fights! Alphino is safely ensconced in a private chamber. My finest healer is examining him as we speak. I've spoken with the physician, and there are no outward signs of illness. Alphino is lost in his sleep from which he cannot be awoken, just like the others. It seems even the lands of the Empire were not far enough away to escape that cursed voice. I share your frustration, Eorzea, I do, but Alphino is returned to us alive and otherwise unharmed. All that remains is to find the means to wake him. Until then, you can but fulfill your duties as a scion, yours and your brother's both. You're right, of course. There are arrangements to be made, and little time to make them. To business then, my lord. Now that we know Seiryu's wall works as intended, can we expect reinforcements for Ala Mhigo? You most certainly can. As promised, we will send troops to bolster our allies in Eorzea without delay. Pray be aware, however, that they will not arrive without delay. Save for some few who boast teleportation magics, the bulk of our force must be transported by sea, a lengthy voyage for which smaller vessels favored by the Confederacy are ill-equipped. Accordingly, I meant to enlist the assistance of the East Aldenard Trading Company to find suitable ships. As for navigating the distances in question, we are in happy position of being able to call upon those who plotted the course of my people's exodus to Eorzea. Beyond the procurement of ships, I think it likely that our East Aldenard friends will consider any involvement in unlikely that they will consent to any military operations, but I'm certain that they will afford Alphino a berth aboard one of their vessels. I shall have the Kyrujan accompany him every ilm of the way to the Rising Stones. You have my thanks, Lord Yen. Yugiri, I will go on ahead to find with our friends to Ala Mhigo. Enlist all those capable of teleportation and put them at the disposal. Okay, cool. They're acknowledging people can teleport. Okay, my issue is, and I think I've said this on stream before, it's not that I gripe about the fact that nobody uses, that nobody mentions using Aetherites, like, ever, almost. And it's less the fact that, like, oh, why are we not using them to escape sketchy situations more? And more the fact of, like, if you're telling me the reason that people don't just use teleportation to fix all of their problems is because the majority of people in the world can't, then why do they bother building them? I'm like, why are they in every settlement, even tiny ones, if, like, 1% of the population is capable of using them? But no, they are acknowledging that people use them. Okay, cool. This is exactly what we'd hoped for. At least the Alliance leaders will be glad indeed to welcome combined strengths of the East. Couldn't they also theoretically, like, just launch an attack on the eastern region? Meanwhile, at the Black Rose chemical plant, couldn't they also, like, theoretically launch a invasion of the eastern side of Garlemald to then distract their forces and make it so that they cannot efficiently combat a war on their western front? I don't know.
Our supplies of Black Rose have been ruined, but the new plant is already under construction. We should have the first batch ready in time for the offensive, Your Radiance.
See that you do.
Ah, yes, the infamous Black Rose. If I recall correctly, Gaius did not much care for the invention. A ruthless and indiscriminate weapon indeed, this airborne poison. It seems you are capable of making decisions worthy of your bloodline.
With no gift for sorcery, we Garleans must look to Magitech to even the odds. If it spares the needless deaths of our soldiers and serves the cause of this empire, there is no method I would not employ.
How very noble of you. Truly, though, I must commend you for embracing your role as Emperor. You play the part of the determined ruler well. Sometimes even I catch myself believing. A silent agent of death. Now that I think on it, Black Rose may well possess the perfect aspect. Slowly but surely, the deluge of light has worked upon the ether here in the source, and the gas should be most susceptible to its influence. Well, I shall leave you to your own devices. Go forth and bloody the land with your grand and glorious war.
While you do what, precisely?
Need you ask? I will be doing what all Ascians do.
I am well aware that your kind exists only to usher in the next calamity. But you seem oblivious to the harm your singular agenda causes to the Empire. You cannot have forgotten the events which followed your mortal demise. Our homeland was plunged into civil war for your failure to name a successor. The edifice you so carefully constructed was but a hair's breadth from collapse.
Are you truly so naive? You thought me oblivious to the consequences of a departure so painstakingly timed?
It was by design?
Well, of course it was. Though I will admit the resulting panic exceeded even my wildest expectations. But how can you be surprised? Throwing the world into disarray was the very purpose for which this nation was, as you say, so carefully constructed. Now, if you have no further questions, I must be on my way. Since we may not meet again in this lifetime, it would be remiss of me not to offer a word or two of gratitude. I really must thank you for this surplus of vessels. I can mold any host into my own image, but having bodies tailor-made for me in this fashion is so much less tiresome. You dabbled in Allagan cloning techniques, yes? It certainly is a compelling, not to mention entertaining, field of research. And of all the options available, you chose the Founding Father on whom to experiment. You have a twisted streak to you, Varus, like grandsire, like grandson, hey? If events play out as planned, this will become something of a family enterprise. You will be the capstone of this world, I the anchor and shard, and together we will give the lie to this star's fraudulent existence.
So is the Ascian in him? Again, hypothetical questions. I'm assuming the Ascian in him is Emet Selch. Because we're assuming Elidibus is in what's his face. We must leave now to convene with Eorzea's leaders, and it may be some time before I return to Doma. Hakuro, I leave you in command. I shall assemble an advance party with all haste. I'll join you in Alamigo forthwith. Just received word from Lys. The Alliance has established a base camp near Alamigo's northeastern border. Once we've arrived in the locks, we will report to a resistance officer stationed in Portia Praetoria, who will point us in the right direction. Let's not keep them waiting. You must be the Scion party I was told to look out for. If you'll follow me, I'll take you directly to the Alliance headquarters. Scion party of 2?
Welcome back, you two. Greetings, Lord Hien. Glad you could join us.
Glad to be here. I would have come sooner, were our own defense is not in question, but I am pleased to report that our soldiers are assembling for deployment to Alamigo as we speak.
We're grateful for your support. Thanks to the efforts of our allies, it won't be long before we've established defensive positions on this front as well.
We have some good news too. Alphino has come back to us. As for the bad news...
So, Alphino won't wake up, Gaius van Baelsar is alive and hunting Ascians, and the Empire is planning to poison us all with toxic gas. Does that sound about right? Ordinarily, any one of those things would have left me in shock. But the way things have been lately, it's all starting to seem pretty normal.
I'd say the Gaius one's not really bad news.
Getting
We
back
have
to your
an
report,
edgy
are we
anti-hero
sure
here.
this Black Rose is the weapon Maxima was talking about?
It fits the description. And it seems we have Alphino to thank for sparing us an early demonstration of its effectiveness. I have a feeling this won't be the last time his bravery in the Empire will serve us here in Eorzea. The threat of an unknown weapon has had us all on edge. But now that we know what we're dealing with, we can take steps to defend against it. As for Gaius, I'm not sure what to think. Am I happy he's alive? Not in the slightest. Am I happy he's hunting Ascians? Aye, I'd have to say I am.
Oh, speaking of Garleans you didn't expect to see, we have a tale of our own, as it happens. When we sent envoys to the Imperial Army to request talks, they returned with the message that Varys Zos Galvus would be attending.
The Emperor himself. Well, Varys did sanction the Popularis peace mission. But knowing that an Ascian walks in his son's skin, I do not see how we can trust him or anyone from that nest of vipers.
The Alliance would proceed with negotiations regardless, if only to give ourselves more time to prepare. We do, however, require your cooperation.
Right. Yes. So, as a condition for the talks to go forward, the Empire has requested that a member of the Scions be present. There'll be a representative from each Alliance nation, of course, But I'm afraid we have to ask that you come along too.
Lise is a scion, though. Like, she's...
God, Lise. You know how much I hate politics. But then, what choice do I have? Alphino and the others aren't going to do it. Very well. I shall attend as the Scion's representative.
Why can't I attend as the Scion's representative?
In case you're wondering why I didn't ask you, the Empire also requested the presence of Eorzea's champion.
I'll be there.
That's settled then. We don't know what Varys means to bring to the table, or why he wants you there, but having you close at hand will make all the difference.
The meeting will take place on the border. Anticipating an early assault, we mean to position the bulk of our forces nearby.
The Alliance leaders should already be on their way. Once you're ready, we can head out and join them.
I don't suppose it's polite to keep an emperor waiting for too long, shall we? Actually, wait, hang on. Is there anybody I can... This is like... There's nobody else I can talk to here. I'm just curious, because they built an entire location for this one cutscene. Charlian could not negotiate peace with the Empire. I rather doubt war can be avoided here. But every moment we steal for our preparations will count in the final reckoning. Let's parlay with the Emperor.
Esteemed representatives of the Eorzean Alliance. On behalf of the Garlean Empire, I thank you for inviting me here today. As this parley was convened at your request, I invite you to speak first.
Very well, Your Radiance. I, Nanimo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, should be pleased to oblige you. As recent events in Alamigo and Doma have made plain, the subjugation and exploitation of neighboring nations is not a sustainable policy. Should this day end in war, you may very well defeat us, but you will never extinguish the people's desire for freedom. Though it may not be in our lifetime, there will be another revolution, another war, and the cycle will continue. Doma has entered into a concord with the nations of Eorzea, a partnership wherein we recognize one another as equals. Garlemald could be afforded similar treatment. You need only set aside your ambitions and join us in paving a path towards peace.
You will not win me over with sophistry, Your Grace. As you know only too well, this alliance lacks the strength to keep the peace within its own borders. Even now, your struggles with the Beastmen continue unabated. Divided, you sow this fertile soil with the seeds of your differences and reap naught but discord and chaos for your trouble. Eorzea must be united under one leader, one purpose. I would offer you both and bring an end to your strife.
With all due respect, Your Radiance, the only thing that you offered the people of Alamigo was fear and hopelessness.
The citizens of Dorma can also attest to the meager arms of Imperial rule. There is no purpose to be found in a life of oppression, each day more uncertain than the last.
And then also you were unable to stamp out at rest in your own country, so like
Our people
pot,
are
kettle.
willing to die for their freedom. A great many already have, and countless more will, if we don't put an end to this madness here and now.
We brought order and stability to your lives. This madness and bloodshed is of your own making. You broke the peace, not Garlemald.
Peace. Order. You kill our peoples, despoil our lands, take everything that is ours. And what? You expect us to lick the boot that grinds our faces into the dirt?
I expect you to weigh the costs. To recognize that countless lives have been lost on both sides in pursuit of a greater good, and to not squander all we have achieved in a fit of petulance.
Your Radiance. I fear I can personally attest to the dangers of pursuing one's vision with such righteous fervor. For 1,000 years, the Holy See of Ishgard waged war with dragons. A 1,000 years of sacrifice, of sorrow and hate, in which we bathed in the blood of friend and foe alike. Had it gone on any longer, we may well have drowned. Yet we have chosen to raise ourselves out of this bloody spiral, and have since made peace with our former enemy.
So I understand. No doubt the dragons were more receptive to your overtures in the wake of their leader's demise. You speak of peace, yet use war to achieve it. Your father would not have bothered to obscure his intent with honeyed words. He understood that strength is all that matters in the end. Without his clarity of vision, I can but wonder what will become of Ishgard and her people. There was a time when Garlemald, too, lacked a leader of conviction. Weak and unable to wield magic, we were at the mercy of the strong, from whom we sought refuge in the bitter cold of the north. Were it not for the discovery of ceruleum and the subsequent development of magitech, we might never have gained the power to take back that which was rightfully ours.
You speak as if your people were the first to have been driven from their homes. Limsa Lominsa was built by wayward souls in search of a place to call their own. On the shores of Vilbrand we found it, and from those humble beginnings did we grow and flourish. And all without robbing our neighbors of their liberty.
They're saying something for a nation of pirates.
So saith the pirate. Am I to believe that you simply asked the kobolds to yield up their lands and that they were happy to oblige you? That you did not drive them out like rats in the hold of one of the many ships seized by your privateer.
Okay, there he has a point.
I will concede that after centuries of exile, reclamation may be mistaken for invasion. Nevertheless, it is not. And those who till stolen soil have no right to object when cast out in turn.
Your uncompromising nature rivals that of the Ixal. They too lament circumstances which they themselves perpetuate. Were they but to embrace peace, we would welcome them with open arms. Indeed, some few have done just that, and now receive of the 12's Wood's bounty. Would that your people might learn from their example.
You dare compare us to the Birdmen? You who thought to invoke the 12 and threaten all of creation?
You guys who chose to invoke giant moon dragon.
I
and
came
threaten
here in
all
the
of
hope of finding some
creation.
speck of common ground, but I see now these discussions will accomplish nothing. Despite what you people may believe, I am not wont to choose the sword over the olive branch. 'Tis but a pity men are loath to accept one without first being shown the other.
Wait! I beg you. This meeting was supposed to be a chance to find a way forward together, not to bemoan the missteps which brought us here. Please. If you truly consider violence a last resort, there must be a way we can come to an agreement.
As Mistress Alisaie says, we did not come here to bicker over the past, but to discuss how we might strive towards a brighter future. Emperor Varys, may I suggest a short recess, that all present might compose themselves prior to beginning anew?
Very well. I pray this intermission will suffice to move these talks in a more constructive direction.
Tis true Limits' beginnings were not wholly honorable, but old wrongs do not make an empire's deeds right. I do much wonder at Emperor Varys' decision to attend these negotiations. It's plain he has no intention of hearkening to our entreaties, but then what is his goal? To maybe murder everyone with Black Rose while we're here? Whatever rebuttal I had in mind was lost when Varys mentioned my father. The man is clearly skilled at keeping his opponents off balance. For a moment I feared our talks would descend into violence there and then. Alisaie speaks of her dislike for politics, but her honest plea may very well have prevented an early battle. For years we have warred with the Empire, and with no end in sight, a parley such as this represents a unique opportunity, and I would not squander it with bitter words. But I get the feeling the Emperor is hiding something. Yeah? Varys holds fast to his ideals, just as I knew he would. He would not be swayed from this path. This is really not my forte. After his Radiance's little performance, it was all I could do not to swear at him. I honestly don't know how I ended up playing the mediator. I just asked myself what Alphino would have done, and tried my best to do the same, and by some miracle it worked. But there really is no common ground to be found with that man, nor do I think he looked for any. So the question becomes, what did he come here to do? Because you can be certain it wasn't to make peace. Whatever it is, I can't make it out. Not yet, at least. We do have a little time before the parley is due to reconvene, though, so why not try consulting our illustrious leaders? Mayhap they have some insight to share. Oh, I literally just did that, Alisaie. This parley was never to bring peace, but I had hoped to learn something of Emperor Varus' relationship with the Ascians. As we all, yet if he is in league with them, he's not like to volunteer the fact, and if not, how much weaker would his position seem for their presence? If we are to broach that particular subject, we will need to be subtle. Would that I knew of more of the man, if he would indulge me. Lord Hien, you received an imperial education, did you not? Is it true the Emperor's will is considered absolute? There is no higher authority in all of Garlemald, nor else in the heavens. Come to that. Veneration of the gods forbidden, the only worship permitted is being that of his radiance's own person. That sounds suspiciously like a religion in and of itself. I share your disdain for their hypocrisy. Even as they denigrate the idea of faith, they reveal their leader with fervor others refer to for the divine. 'Tis a flaw common to much of the doctrine they feed us, illogical on the surface perhaps, but contradictory upon closer examination. I wonder if a discussion of the various discrepancies might prompt Varus to reveal something. So, I suppose they want Varus to turn into a primal? Just gonna assume that they're gonna him primal. That's what I'm assuming. He's very well versed in Eorzean history. His interest in our affairs is that of a beast of its prey. The conqueror would know of its enemies. All should know their enemies, yet there is much and more we do not know of the Empire. And it's up to us to change that, here and now. You would have me ask the Emperor himself? Well, mayhap there is some wisdom in that. If we could skirt the storm of his displeasure, we may yet come to our answers, even if that does mean sailing close to the wind. Told have mercy, but for Lady Alice's timely interjection, we might well have come to blows at the negotiating table. Not that Emperor Varus left us a great many options. Is unconditional surrender all he will accept, do you think? Ere he arrived, I'd have said yes, but having heard him speak, I cannot help but think that he came with some other end in mind. Exactly, he's building up to something, I know it. How should we approach the rest of the parley? Have you anything to say, Warrior of Light? Invite Varus to explain himself. You believe he is more apt to reveal the truth if we put him at ease. Mayhap you're right. Thank you. I've been getting back into Doctor Who, and I love it's a quote on one of the cards from the Doctor Who thing, but I just got to the episode where he says it, where it's like, be confident and act as if you already know their plan, and if you're lucky, they might tell it to you. I love that. It's such a Doctor Who thing. Can I? No, I can't walk back there. So with everyone then, now all that remains is to await the pleasure of the Emperor and hope that we fare better in his second attempt.
Now then, who would have the floor?
Before we resume, I wish to offer you an apology. After you graciously accepted our invitation to discuss an armistice, we have done naught but rebuke you at every opportunity. I believe I speak for all of us when I say we are deeply sorry for our discourtesy.
I'll admit your familiarity with our affairs surprised me, and served to remind me how little I know of yours.
I think all here can understand the desire to reclaim one's homeland. But why expand further? That is my question.
If I may, the answer can be found in the Imperial doctrine they took great pains to impart to my people. Recognizing the threat Icons posed to the world, Solus Zos Galvus decreed that they were to be eradicated. To this end, he began a campaign to unite all lands under the Garlean banner. Or so we were taught. Yet the Emperor only reached the burn, the Baron said to have been laid waste by Icons, after conquering all the lands that lay between. What is more, I am quite certain the practice of summoning was not nearly so widespread in the days before the Empire's founding.
When you put it like that, it all starts to sound like an excuse, doesn't it? But to distract from what? Why are you really waging this war?
Finally, you ask the right question. I can but hope you heed mine answer, and at last accept the righteousness of our cause. My goal is this: to return the world to the way it once was, the way it was always meant to be. In doing so, mankind will be made whole once more. No longer will we suffer from the dissension born of our differences. There will be but one race, a perfect race, as we were when time began.
What in Rulga's name are you talking about?
I am talking about the origins of this star, of the source and its 13 reflections. At the instant of the great sundering, 'twas not only the world that was shattered, but mankind itself. Thus were we divided into myriad races, each with its own unique imperfections. That is why man looks upon his neighbor and feels fear and hatred, why he wages war, why he kills his brother. You all in your own way have proven as much today. The peace you seek is but a fleeting solution to a fundamental problem. One which calls for more drastic measures. To bring about everlasting peace, our worlds must be rejoined.
This sounds like Ascian bullshit.
That is the goal the Empire would see realized. The glorious future unto which we shall one day shepherd mankind.
A rejoining of worlds.
I have heard this tale of the Source and its reflections before.
Are these not the self-same desires as the Ascians?
Emperor Varys, do not trust in their words. They will lead you to your doom. My father thought to use them, but in the end he succumbed to their temptations. He embraced summoning like so many other pawns before him. Do not tell us you mean to do the same.
To be a pawn, free from the burden of choice, would be a blessing. But I forswore that privilege the day I learned that the Garlean Empire was built by the hand of an Ascian.
What? Letting us know.
Yes. My grandsire, the former Emperor, is of their number. And who better to build an empire capable of bringing about the calamitous change we desire? Would you condemn me for this alliance? For bowing to the will of these shadowy masters, when the prize is true and lasting peace?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% would. Your prize is a lie and your masters are demons.
I come not to conquer, but to liberate. To free man from the prison of divergence.
Yeah, I get you thought the Hunger Games was a better book series.
Imagine a world united. One perfect race beneath a single standard.
An army before whose might these servants of darkness and light would fly as leaves in a storm, never again to meddle in man's affairs. We would be the masters of our own fate. I bid you join me, not as subjects of Garlemald, but of a new nation. And together we shall win freedom for ourselves and generations yet unborn.
You want to trigger another half-dozen calamities? You can't be serious!
Have you forgotten how many died? There will be no one left.
Do you truly imagine we would aid you in your bloodletting?
It is unthinkable, unconscionable.
And what is the alternative? To be as cattle waiting for slaughter? I would have us work together, that we might take fate into our own hands!
Into your hands, perhaps. But what of the other worlds, your radiance? With every calamity, you obliterate a star and every soul that dwells on it.
To the Ascians, we are all but tiny, momentary specks within an indifferent universe. We cannot hope to oppose them until we have been made whole once more.
I've killed an Ascian. Killed a couple of them. Just saying. We're not really specks. Kill them.
Are these truly the words of Garlemald's ruler? The flaws and foibles which you so abhor are what make us who we are. Every nation, even yours, Emperor Varys, is made whole through the combination of these imperfections, the strengths of one compensating for the weaknesses of another. While it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts through the forming of bonds with others, fostering community and cooperation. That the protector of an empire should not only reject these fundamental truths, but seek to change them at so dear a cost to life is indefensible. Such a man is not fit to govern.
And you, warrior of light, would you refuse me as well?
I've killed an Ascian before. We can defeat the Ascians as we are. I've already killed a couple. Can I just say it? We killed La Habrea. We just did. He's dead now. We did that. We could do it again.
It would seem the Alliance is of one mind on this matter.
You Eorzeans never cease to disappoint me. Though I suppose I have only myself to blame for expecting more from savages. This discussion is at an end. I bid you make ready for our next meeting. It will not be at the negotiating table.
Got one guard, turns to another.
Did the Emperor just say his dad was an Ascian? The Emperor just said he wants to cause a calamity and he said a whole bunch of really culty stuff. Like, I know we're, as a nation, kind of culty, but that was like another level.
The Empire exists to wage war, and war it shall have. but his vast armies pouring like tides themselves could very well be the greatest military threat Eorzea has ever faced. Refuse the Empire's words with all of my being. What justice is there in an ideal that demands the sacrifice of so many? I was born in the Empire, but I will never serve the Emperor. Only the Seedseer commands my loyalty. Oh, do you have an eye thingy? You don't. Okay. Now that we've learned the Emperor's true purpose, war has become an inevitability. Just times like these, I curse my own uselessness in battle. It makes a twisted kind of sense the Empire was built by the Chaos Bringers themselves. The revelation yet rattles me, but now that we know our enemies are one and the same, we have a target onto which to unleash the full force of the Alliance. Send me to the front lines if you please. We'll give the Imperials a taste of the Maelstrom's cannons, not to mention my axe. Pippin! My first engagement is Flame General, and it's a full-scale war with the Empire. I feel some measure of nervousness, of course, but I swear I'll make my father proud in the battles to come. The Ascians are terrible beings, indeed, that would have found an entire nation to further their dark designs. It would seem the Empire's history is as sinister as Ishgard's own. The Temple Knights have deployed full in strength. Eorzea's future is Ishgard's future, and our fates ride upon the outcome of this conflict. This grand plan is to bring about more calamities. This is insanity. This madman must be stopped at all costs. We suspected Ascians meddled in the shadows of the Empire. The truth is far beyond our wildest imagining. At least now we know that we face our enemy. We need to not hesitate to strike at its heart. I'm glad we arrived in time to aid in the battle. Though our vanguard might be small, these few are our chosen elite, the finest warriors of the Far East. I came back to find Doma's advance party ready and waiting for battle, so as worrying as a little chat with the Emperor was, it did buy enough time for at least some of our allies to arrive.
I'm not sure what I was expecting from our meeting with the Emperor, but it wasn't that. Still, at least we know now what he's really after.
Aye, a future built on a mountain of bodies. I too want the Ascians dead, but not at any cost.
The last of the reinforcements from Doma arrived not long ago. I pray it will be enough. Given the Emperor's stated goal, this is a battle we can ill afford to lose.
If the Garleans come in force, we may not have much say in the matter, even with our combined strength.
We knew from the first that the odds would be against us. But if there is even the slightest chance of victory, we must do everything in our power to seize it.
We must seize it, full stop.
Here!
The two of you are to join an irregular unit and support the main host. I won't bother asking if you're minded to fight.
After coming this far, how could I not? And for once, there's no one around to counter on me. Not that they would. Not even my brother. But we all know who'll really make the difference. Ready to frighten some Garleans?
I wouldn't want to be on their side.
Might I ask you to accompany the Dorman contingent? They are strangers here, and your presence would do much to raise their spirits.
We would be honored.
When our people stride out with you in their midst, I dare say the Eorzeans will feel an ilm taller themselves. High spirits have a way of spreading.
What I wouldn't give to join you. But my duties as field commander will not allow it. I'll leave the front lines in your capable hands.
Instead of my capable hand. Are we about to have... No. I heard the music fading out. I was wondering if we were going to have another headache.
Comrades, ready your arms. The hour of battle has come. May the crystal guide us to victory!
Since the others couldn't be here, we'll have to fight twice as hard. If Alphinaud wakes to find the Imperials have won, I shall never hear the end of it. It's strange. I thought I would be terrified when the fighting started. I should be terrified. But with you at our side, I can't help feeling everything is going to be all right.
Headache? Every single time it's just us talking, I'm like, a headache is coming any second.
Leave me alone. No matter what happens, we have to survive together.
Every single time the thing happened, actually, we lost a person. No, we lost two. It was, Y'shtola and, Eorzea together. So I was going to say, I was like, oh, we've had a number of headaches equal to the number of people who are gone. Oh, I shouldn't do a dungeon. I've got, let me see, actually. Let me see, I'm gonna go out and do some Digimon tonight. How long will it take me to get there from here? Oh god, an hour. Yeah, no, I'm not doing this. Stay focused now. Let's show the Empire what we're made of. The Eastern Alliance stands ready to fight. Let us seize the victory this day and secure the morrow for all our peoples. There's a chill in the air, and I speak not of the weather. Nay, this is the palpable tension that precedes a bloody battle. My duties as field commander demand that I remain here at my post, but I have no doubt the front lines are in your capable hands. Any other people here? Nope. Okay. That's that. I will wrap things up then. Thank y'all for hanging out. Let me see. Following. Cards, as the kids say, yeah. I want to go raid somebody, I just don't know who I'd want to raid. You know what? I'm gonna go play Digimon, so we'll raid Digibunny. Even though they are not playing... Even though they are not playing Digimon. If you're on YouTube, Twitch.tv/DigiBunny. Thanks for hanging out. You found the missing persons. This is our raid message. Oh god, I got hiccups. Until next time, I'll be seeing